Dear cadets, a very good morning to you all. How are you? Yes, I hope all of you are fine at your sweet home with your near and dear ones. Dear all, are you safe or are you cautious regarding the fact that the whole world is suffering from the corona pandemic? Yes, I hope you all are definitely cautious, right? After many days, I'm going to take your class, and our today's lesson is subject-verb agreement. I have divided the lesson into two parts, and today I'm going to teach you part 1. Dear all, before starting our lesson, I'd like to tell you what your learning outcome will be. That is, after the lesson, what you will be able to learn. At first, definitely you will be able to grasp new vocabularies and you will be able to understand the proper ways of using subject-verb agreement in the proper places, both while speaking and writing. Okay, dear cadets, now let's start our topic. What is subject-verb agreement? Do you know? Yes, subject-verb agreement is a process in which you will place the subject and verb accordingly. You need to know the rules. Okay, subject-verb agreement is used to express or show the number of the subject and the verb. The concept of subject-verb agreement is easier in English grammar. Okay, you all have read or you all have learned this topic actually from your very childhood. But here, I'm going to teach you in an advanced level. Okay, you see, there are some rules which are still confusing that you need to know being the cadets of class 12. Okay, see, a singular verb is used with a singular subject. This point you all know. And a plural verb is used with a plural subject. That is also known to you. Now, when they agree with each other, we call it that a subject and the verb agree. And this is actually subject-verb agreement. Now, see, some of the commonly used rules of subject-verb agreement are discussed below. Rule number 1. Subject and verb must agree with each other in number. That is, both must be singular or both must be plural. As for example, if you say, he eats rice. Here, since the subject is he, that is singular, the verb will also be singular accordingly. That is eats. And again, if you say, they eat rice, then here you can easily see the subject they is plural, and for that very reason, the verb eat is also plural. Now, rule number 2. See, some words come between the subject and verb and state something about the subject. They actually don't affect the agreement, okay? They are actually called noun in apposition. Here, you see, the man carrying the bag goes to the market. Here, carrying the bag is the condition of that man. That is, carrying the bag is not actually subject. Here, the subject is the man. And so, this carrying the bag, that is this apposition, this phrase in apposition or this extra part in the sentence actually doesn't affect the verb, okay? Now see, the verb goes has been according to the subject, that is the man. And here the man is singular, and so the verb goes has been singular accordingly. Actually, the sentence is the man goes to the market. And here you have used an extra phrase that is carrying the bag. Dear cadets, I'd like to remind you one thing, that here lies another rule, that is the rule of modifier. Here, the carrying the bag is actually one kind of modifier. Okay, so remember it. Next, rule number 3. A subject will come before a prepositional phrase. Okay, see the examples. A bunch of roses is spreading the beauty of this stage. This one is correct. But what will be incorrect? A bunch of roses are spreading the beauty of this stage. Okay, my dear cadets. Why here the plural verb are will be wrong? Yes. The reason is that here the subject is singular. How? You might think that roses is the subject here and roses are plural. So the verb will be plural accordingly, right? But here actually the subject is not roses. Rather, the subject is a bunch of roses. If you would have said roses are spreading the beauty of this stage, that would have been correct. But as you have used a bunch of roses, so here it has been a singular subject because a bunch is singular. So you need to follow this rule. Again, if you say those members are very happy or those family members are very happy, that one is correct. But if you say the family of those members are very happy, that will be incorrect. You need to tell the family of those members is very happy. Okay, because here the family is the subject, and so the verb will be accordingly. I hope I could make my point clear. Next, rule number 4. You see, two singular subjects that are connected by or, either, or neither nor, you need to use a singular verb. As for example, my brother or my sister is coming today. Here you see, my brother or my sister, that is, the subject is either my brother or my sister. So my brother is also singular and my sister is also singular. And so what will happen here? With this term, with this conjunction or, they have become this singular, and so the verb will be singular accordingly. Okay, the sentence might be my brother is coming today or my sister is coming today. And so with the conjunction or, we have made one sentence, but the verb will be singular. Okay, again you can see either Mo or Akash is trying to buy the smartphone. So the rule is same. Again, neither Asif nor Abir is going to Chittagong. The rule is same. Now, rule number 5. The sentence contains or, either or neither nor. The verb agrees with the noun or pronoun closest to it. Dear cadets, be very attentive to this rule. I am reading this out again. The sentence contains or, either or neither nor. The verb agrees with the noun or pronoun closest to it. So the verb will be according to the closest subject. Okay? That is, the verb will not follow the first subject here, rather the next subject, which is close. That is, the subject which is close to the verb will be followed by the verb. Okay. So you can see here, either you or he has gone to the party. Here you see the verb has been according to the subject he. It has not followed the subject you. Rather, it has followed the subject he. If it would follow the subject you, then the verb would be have, right? But that is wrong. So it will be either you or he has gone to the party. Again, neither she nor I have attended the meeting. My dear cadets, see, here the verb has followed the closest subject to itself. That is, it has followed I. And for that very reason, the auxiliary verb has been have here. Okay? Now, neither she, her friends, nor I am going to the competition. Okay? Here also the same thing. That is the verb, that is the auxiliary verb am has been according to the closest subject I. I hope this point is clear to you. Now, rule number 6. You see, if both the subjects are plural and connected with the words and, or, nor, neither, nor, either, or, and not only but also, then the verb will be in plural form. Okay, it's quite natural that if both the subjects are plural, then the verb will definitely be plural because there is no other option, right? And as we have learned the rule, that is the verb will always follow the closest subject. So here the closest subject is also in plural. So it will be definitely plural. See the examples. Men and women both are entered the room. Dear cadets, this one is in the passive form, right? Okay. Then not only teachers and but also students are requested to participate the event. Here is the same thing. Now, dear cadets, rule number 7. A plural verb is used when two or more subjects are connected by and. Okay, so far we have learned the rule of or and nor. And now we're going to learn the rule of and this one is the most common rule which you have been learning from your very childhood. That is, if both the subjects are joined with the conjunction and, then definitely the verb will be plural because and joins both the subjects, and when something joins two things, then two things become definitely plural, right? Now you see, I, you, and Marcia are going to attend the party. So here, and is the conjunction here, and so the verb is are, that is plural here. Again, my uncle, aunt, and cousin are coming to visit our college. Here the same thing. For and, the verb has been plural, that is are. Dear cadets, now rule number 8. When two or more subjects are connected by and refer to a singular thing, then the verb will be a singular form. Now, dear cadets, you know, appearance doesn't say everything, right? There is something called inner self. So here it appears that and is a plural conjunction which joins two things, and this makes those two things plural. But if the plural form indicates one singular thing, okay, then the verb will definitely be a singular one, right? You see, fried rice and chicken is his favorite. Okay, now you might ask, fried rice and chicken are two different things, so they are definitely plural. But the thing is that normally chicken and fried rice are taken or are eaten together, and that's why it is just used as a singular item. Okay, it is just used as a package, one package, and for one package it has been used or it has been treated as singular, and so you have to use the verb singular. See, I'm telling again, fried rice and chicken is his favorite. Okay, next, this rule is very important and a bit difficult or critical one to be remembered or to be captured into your brain. Okay, never forget this. See, along with, as well as, besides, not, etc. are not the part of the subject. Okay, again I'm reading out. Along with, as well as, besides, not, etc. are not the part of the subject. Actually, there's something additional. Okay, there's something extra, so they do not actually hamper or create any effect upon the subject. If the subject itself is singular, the verb will be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb will be plural. These things, these conjunctions actually do not make any change. You see, they may separate the subject and verb in a sentence, but they are not the part of the sentence. Okay. Now you may ask a question, that is, if they are put into a sentence, then how can they not be the part of the sentence? Actually, they don't have that much importance. You see, the great writer, along with the cameraman, is given a shot. Okay. You see, at first, you can ask or you can tell the great writer is given a short. Okay, and here the extra part is along with the cameraman. Actually, here the along with the cameraman has no value or has no importance, not much importance in this sentence. This is something extra. Here the main subject is the great writer, and so we are not treating it as a part of subject. So the verb will be according to the subject, that is the great writer. That is, if you tell the great writer is given a shot, that is enough. Here, along with the cameraman is extra. Okay, now I have another question to you, which you must answer to me. Okay, your duty is to find fault with this very line. There are two mistakes, and those two mistakes are made for you so that you can find out. Okay, I want to test your IQ or your prior knowledge regarding the grammar. You will find those out and you will answer me via, you can do that via messenger, or you can do that in the comment section. Okay, wherever you do, it's all right, but I want to see all of you participating in this session, that is finding fault session. Okay, now see, excitement as well as nervousness is the main reason to fail in the exam. Here also the same thing, that is, if you say excitement is the main reason to fail in the exam, that is enough. Here that as well as nervousness is something extra. Okay, dear cadets, if instead of as well as or along with, we would have told and, what would happen here? Here we could see that the verb would be plural, right? That is, we could have said excitement and nervousness are the main reasons to fail in the exam. And in the same way, the great writer and the cameraman are given a shot. Okay. So, and just makes the two parts similar. It gives similar importance to both the subjects, but along with, as well as, besides, not, etc. do not give the same value. Next, rule number 10. You see, parentheses are not the part of the sentence, or the part of the subject. Here, parenthesis is the plural form and parenthesis, that is SIS, is the singular form. Okay, see, she was always helpful. This is the main sentence. And in the parenthesis, you see, and her makeup man. Here, inside the parenthesis, whatever you may put, that doesn't matter. That doesn't create, or that doesn't make any sense. That is, that doesn't create any value to change the verb. Okay, here you see makeup man, plural. It itself is plural. So the verb was to be plural, but it will not be. Again, you see that and has been used here. And we know that and makes both the subjects plural. So here was not to be put. Rather, instead of was, where was to be put. But as inside the parenthesis, whatever is put, that doesn't create any effect upon the sentence. So the verb will be just according to the subject, main subject, that is she. Okay, now rule number 11. When the subject begins with the word there or here, the subject is placed after the verb. Okay, you see. So it is important to identify the verb correctly. You see, there is a problem with this experiment, and here are the pens you wanted. My dear cadets, see, in the first sentence, the verb is singular, that is. And in the second sentence, the verb is plural, that is are. Why? Because we all know that verb will be according to the subject. So at first, you need to identify the subject. So, in the first sentence, which one is subject? Okay, dear cadets, the first sentence puts the subject a problem. So, a problem is definitely a singular one. So, the verb has been singular, that is. And in the second sentence, the subject is the pens. And the pens are definitely plural. So, the verb will be obviously are. So, there is a problem with this experiment, and here are the pens you wanted. Okay, my dear cadets, that's all for our today's class. And before ending our class, I'd like to give you a homework that is quite common to you. I hope that you must do it. You must write down all the examples on your notebook that were taught in today's class, okay? It will enhance your skill. Now let's see the question pattern. It can be, you see, eyes in bracket float on water. I let them in bracket use my shoes. I had better in bracket go to the market by this time. Then I need not in bracket do the work. He in bracket take his lunch just now. So you have to see, you have to follow the rules, and you need to do these things. In the next class, I'll show you part 2, and I hope with the part 2, our subject verb agreement or the right form of verb will be over. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for attending the class, for listening to the lecture attentively. I hope all of you were sincere enough at your home and you are studying seriously, because you have very little time in your hand, right? You see that, inshallah, The world will be better. There will be no more corona, no more epidemic, and everything will be all right. And at that very moment, suddenly you will see that your time is over. And so you must study hard, okay? Please do not waste your time. I hope that we all will see you all in a safe and sound health. You must be cautious regarding corona pandemic, and you must make your parents and siblings cautious regarding this, right? Please do not go outside. Do not go into a crowded place, okay? Do not join any ceremony because you have enough time in your hand to do so. But if you are affected, that will be really devastating for everyone. And if you have dire need, then you'll have to go. There is no other alternative. At that very moment, you must be serious. You must use your mask and hand gloves with you, right? And you must wash your hands frequently with hand sanitizers. So I hope you follow all those instructions. Till now, I'm reminding you. So please stay fine, stay safe, pray for us. Hope you're safe return at your sweet alma mater, your second home. So with this, I'd like to conclude here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.